ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं आसं. We didn't start with Sahana. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Shokaudapadam Tam. What is that suddenly? Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidparam. Instead of Alzheimer's, sometimes the Samzheimer's comes. Vishram, before that, Mauna Vyakya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam Vashishtante Vasat Rishigane Ravrutam Brahmanishtai Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudra Rupam Swatma Ramam Muditavadanam Dakshinamoorty Mide Vishram Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam Paschennatmani Mayaya Bahirivodbhutam Yata Nidraya Yas Sakshat Kurude Prabodha Samaye Swatmanameva Dvayam Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Yasyaiva Spuranam Sadatmakam Kalparthakam Vasate Sakshat Tattva Bijasyantarivangkuro Jagadidam Prang Nirvikalpam Punah Maya Kalpita Desha Kala Kalana Vai Chitra Chitri Kritam Maya Viva Vijrambayatyavimaha Yogi Vayasvechaya Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Yasyaiva Smaranam Sadatmakam Kalparthakam Vasate Sakshat Tattvamasi Veda Vajasa Yo Bodhayatya Shritan Yes Sakshat Karanad Bhavinna Punaravrittir Bhavam Bonitau Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Nana Chitra Gadotara Stitamaha Deepa Prabhabaswaram Jnanam Yasya Dushakshuradi Karanadvara Bahispandate Janami Ditameva Bantam Anuvadi Edat Samastam Jagat Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namayitam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Deham Pranamapindriyan Apichalam Buddhim Cha Shunyam Viduhu Stri Balanta Jadopamaspahamidhi Pranta Prashambadina Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpidamaha Vyamoha Samharine Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Rahugrasta Divakarinda Sardursho Maya Samachadanat Sanmatra Karanopasamharanato Yobut Sushupta Puman Pragaswapsamidhi Prabodha Samaye Yapratyabhignayate Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Shunyam Midi Kshanikam Yidi Bodhaha Vadanti Tasmat Yati Shunyam Jagat Ishvarasya Hedutvam Na Abhi Asti Shunyam Va Yati Kshanikam Va. So here, either the world is null and void or momentary, which is actually proposed and established by the Buddhas, is being questioned here with the Vedic authority as well as with the correct way of understanding through logic. As you all know, Shruti Yukta Yukti is what the tradition of Shankaracharya, his disciples, Sureshwaracharya also uses that. So first is Shruti Pramana, then Shruti Yukta Yukti Pramana. Tada Anubhuti. There also practical things are also taken to prove that the argument that the world is void and the argument that world is momentary, these two are being faced and answered. Now, we saw in the verse number 6 here, in the state of sleep, one may argue, the Buddhists may argue, since the world is totally gone, there is total absence of everything in the state of sleep. The question of reality of the world is raised. When the total extinction of the world is experienced or known, where is the question of its reality? For which here Bhagavan Shankaracharya had given the answer, Rahugrasta Divakara Indu Sadrushaha. Rahuna Grastaha. As we saw in the last class, Rahu, a demon, as though swallows the sun or the moon. During the time of eclipse, we see the brightness of the sun or the moon is not available. It's as though devoured. In the same way, Maya Samachadanat. Mayaya Samyak Achatanat. By the Maya, when it is, when one's own being is completely obscured, it is not that there is destruction of the person, destruction of the soul. There is existence. Sanmatraha. The consciousness, the self, otherwise available to us as pure awareness, as well as on various activities we come to have the thought as I am. Even that I am apparently being absent at the time when we go into Sushupti, Karana Upasamharanatah, Karana Upasamharanat, due to the fact that all the Karanas, Bahikaranas, and Antakarana, all of them, all the 10 organs of action and sense knowledge, as well as Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chittam, iti Chaturvida Antakaranani api Upasamharanat Sushupta Samaye Yo Bhut Sushuptaha Yaha Abhut, one who becomes completely in the state of deep sleep, Puman Purushaha, Yaha Purushaha Abhut. Prag means Sushuptehe Prag. After the state of sleep, what happens? Pratyabhijnayate, recognizes, recollects. What? Yaha pratyabhijnayate, that which recollects. Here, yaha pratyabhijnayate, and earlier line said, yaha puman. Sushuptaha jivaha. Tadeva jivaha, sayeva jivaha, suptehe prag pratyabhijnayate. The same person who went to sleep alone is the person who wakes up and says or recollects, Prag aswapsam. Aswapsam iti. Suptehe Prag, after this sleep, Prag apswapsam aham iti. I slept well. When prabodha samaye pratyabhijnayate. Upon waking up, he recollects, recognizes. No, the tasmai does not go to the puman. Tasmai to understand, to be understood as that consciousness. That consciousness because of which pratyabhijnayate. That consciousness, we can, obviously, there are no two to say. Jivaha ekaha tad vyadiriktaha atma asti. This is not the way to understand, because obviously there cannot be duality here. But in the transactional world where we are right now, apparently we make the difference between Jiva and Paramatma. Oh, I have the self, but the one who is sleeping is not the self, obviously. Paramatma never sleeps. If he also sleeps, then what happens? So, he who is awake when you are asleep. Now, this apparent duality has to be maintained to validate this state of experience as true, state of deep sleep. To understand it clearly, the upasamhara takes place, karana upasamhara takes place at the level of jiva, but the one who is not the body or the mind or the senses, definitely that one is always awake. To that, tasmai gurumurtaye Dakshinamoortaye idam namah. So to that consciousness, because of which a person is able to recollect and says, I slept well. Yena pratyabhijna sambhavati. Yena pratyabhijnayate. To be understood as because of whom an individual is able to recollect. The slept person cannot by himself. The slept one cannot obviously can know that one slept well. So that is the point to be recognized here. Now Bhagavan Shankaracharya takes up to say, let us start with your argument that the world is null and void. It is total void. Shunyam. So he begins with, in the verse number 13 here, Sumyanche jagate jagato hetuhu jagateva na sindyati gadashunya patashunyah iti kai pratipadyate. Jagatah hetuhu shunyam chet. If the hetuhu karanam, the karanam, the cause of the world is shunyam, jagateva na siddhyati. Even to say there is something called world is not possible. The Buddhist view is the world gets to become absent in total sleep. Therefore, even when it is present, it is not there. Even it is present when others say it is not there. They cannot accept saying that it is void but seen. How can the void be seen? So what you see as the world is not there. So if you say, if they want to deny Ishvara, that's the main point here. Now in Panchadashi we are seeing why Sureshwaracharya is trying to establish Ishvaratva, and Ishvara is the Karanam for this Jagat, etc. We have been reading in the Panchadashi clearly there. Sureshwaracharya accept Ishvara as the cause, though Ishvara himself is the superimposition on Brahman. Because akarta atma na kadachit kinchit karanam bhavati. The actionless self cannot ever become a doer or the cause of anything. Therefore, the world from the apada darshanat asti, ajnana drishtya asti. Ajnana drishtya asti, ajnana drishtya anubhavidum api shakyate. Even as it is, from the standpoint of ignorance, it is experienced also. Vedanta standpoint is not, world is not. To start with, world is temporary. Appearance. That's why they don't say shunyam, nor do they say arambha or parinama. Asti iti kinchit vadati. Some people say it is. Nasti iti kinchit vadati. It is not there. Some people say Vedantaha asti iva bhati iti vadati. So some people say, someone says it is, someone says it is not. Vedanta says it appears. Why? Obviously, anubhuti is the reason. It is experienced. See, you cannot say if a person has undergone a very terrible dream and wakes up with so much of sweat and agitation. When he wakes up, he knows, obviously, it is all dream. But do not deny that he never dreamt. You cannot say you never dreamt. What do you mean? I experienced a dream. Though I come to know that it is not true, it is temporary, confusion in my mind, but I had experienced it. So, Jagat Vivartam. Vivartam means Vivita Rupena Pravartam. Yeah, it is very different ways or many different categories of things. Appearance has taken place. Okay. Now, Buddhist standpoint is Jagat Shunyam Chet Ishvaraha bhi Shunyameva. That is to counteract that only he says Shunyam se Jagataha Hetuhu Ishvaraha Jagadeva na siddhyati. If Ishvaraha Shunyam Chet Jagatapi Shunyam, and if Jagati Shunyam Gatashunyaha Patashunyahe iti. So if cause of the world is Shunyam, null, then Kaihi Patashunyaha iti Pratipadyate. If the world is completely null and void, who is seeing the void? कोई है? ये है ही नहीं, कौन बता सकता है? Jagat includes, if they are not attributing an existence of something as real, nothing is, according to them, not only the world is real, even the perceiver is real, unreal. The world, not only the world is null and unreal or not there, even the perceiver is not there. Because if they accept that the perceiver is true, then they have to prove who, how, or what is the cause of this one. If you say somebody is watching the absence, that person is presence or not? Yes. Who caused that? Who is the cause, or from where did that come from? If it can be, there can be a cause for the person who is perceiving the absence is there, then you have to accept God. So Kaihi, by whom? Kaihi Pratipadyate. By whom it is perceived? Kaihi means Kena. By those, by which are those which are perceiving this? Kasmat Jagatah Siddhihi Shunya Hetukatve iti ataha yat upadanagam hi yat karyam tat tadatmana pradiyate. The argument here is, whatever be the cause, that will be seen in the effect, or whatever is seen in the effect, that should be present in the cause. This is a simple Karya Karana Lakshana. The relationship between cause and effect is that what is seen in the effect must have a cause, and that qualities of the effect must be there in the qualities of the cause. Or the qualities of the cause are available, not fully, partially, maybe available in the effect. So if the world is Shunyam, Ishvara is Shunyam. See, Ishvara has Shunyam, then the world cannot be experienced, but experienced. Who experienced by whom then? Tata yata swarna upadanakam kundaladi sarva swarnatmana tada shunya upadanakatve jagataha shunyatmana eva vyavaharaha prasajyeta. If the Ishvaraha, the cause of this creation, is null and void, absent, then the world in general cannot be perceived by anybody. Na sadatmana eva tu vyavahriyate sarvaihi na shunyatmana ityartaha. Everybody in this world experiences the world as is. Isn't it? The computer is, the table is, the chair is, I am. This is the way everybody experiences it. Therefore, your argument that world is shunyam and the karanam is also shunyam, but the perceiver is real. Perceiver is real. The perceiver also is shunyam only. How is that perceiver is true? So, this is the first one. And obviously, in Chandogya Upanishad, etc., this discussion is taking place. And there, the student is very clearly being told, Yatra eva etat yatra etat purushaha sushupti nama sata saumye tada sampanno bhavati swam apitaha, that we saw that earlier also. So here in the Chandogya Upanishad, tasmat asadaha sad ajayata कुतस्तु खलु सौम्य एवं स्यात् इति होवाच कथम् असतः सज्जायेत इति सत्त्वेव सौम्य इदमग्रे आसीत् एकमेव अद्वितीयम्. So in the beginning, that advitiyam advitiyasateva asid. And only the non-dual self alone was there. From that non-dual presence, the existence come to be. So therefore, in the beginning, there that non-dual self existed. Existence was there without any otherness. And that existence alone is now appearing as variety without losing its oneness. Just like the gold can be made into many ornaments, but goldness never goes away. Goldness is always there. That is its primary quality. Similarly, sattva is the primary quality, even though it appears as vividatva, variety. It is sattarupa ekamatram. Sattarupam ekamatram. Its existence is one without any duality. Continuing, he says, Naiva bhaseda shunyam chet jagat nara vishanavat shunyam chet jagat na eva bhasyeta. If it is shunyam, it cannot be experienced like that of nara vishanavat, like the horns on my head. The teacher says, it can never be experienced like the horns on my head. So the student says, sometimes when you are angry, it looks like you have one. They will have that like this. So that which is not can never be experienced. But the world is not experienced. Experience is there of the world. So, continuing, Vastvarti kim upadaya, sorry, I think the spelling, okay. Vastvarti kim upadatyat bharartha kim parityajet kovidatyan nishidhyetva shunyatva tvasya chatmanah. Vastu arthi. Vastu means object. Arthi means one who seeks. So, Vastu arthi, anybody who is seeking, wanting an object, is possible only when that object is available. Vastu arthi kim upadatyat. If the object is not there, the world is not there, where there can be anybody who is seeking that particular object of the world? Or when somebody is carrying a load on his head, bharartaha, bharena artaha, one who is tired out of carrying that bhara on his head, kim parityajet. If he wants to remove that bhara, what does he remove if it is not there? Because he is experiencing the heaviness of the object, therefore he wants to get rid of the object and put it aside. Because one wants that particular object, therefore the person seeks that object. So if that perceiver alone is real, if at all you say, and that person asks for something, looks for something, and that is not there, would you be a arthi, a seeker of that object? But that is impractical, right? In the world, we do see people seeking object, knowing that there is object. People remove the weight of the object which they are carrying onto the floor because they know there is an object that weighs heavy on my head. One person traveled and he was traveling and he had to go from one city to another city. So he got onto the bus carrying a heavy load on his head, basket full of mangoes. And he was carrying it, and he was, as even he entered the bus, and he was still carrying it. So the bus conductor came and took the ticket, all right. Then he said, why are you not putting down the basket down? He said, I paid for myself. I don't have money to pay for that mangoes to keep it all there. Obviously, when he is there and carrying the basket, the weight is the same, whether he puts it down or above. The total weight, him and the basket will be the same, whether he's carrying on his head or putting it down. But he will be relieved from that heaviness. So there is the reality of, at that moment, of the object which he is carrying, which he wants to put it aside. Similarly, ko vidyad nishiddhetva. Ko vidadyat nishiddhetva. If the person in question himself is shunyam, what does he, such a person, how does he decide ko vidatyat, who comes to know what to be given up? Etat nishiddham iti. This is to be avoided, to be given up. Swasya atmanaha shunyatvat. If oneself is absent. So this is your argument about world is absent, individual is absent, sarvam shunyam, is not ever experienced by anybody in this world. Shunya karakam jagat karanakam jagat api shunyameva astu vyavaharastu samvritti matrena bhavishyati iti ashankya shunyasya nirupasyatvat samvrityapi na vyavahara siddhihi iti abhiprayetya aha nahi naravishanam samvrityapi kanchit pratiyate iti bhavaha. Continuing there is upadana parityagayoho siddhi vishayatvat shunya pakshe kim upadatyat kim parityajet. And also, what is that a person will take, what is the person will reject, all that. And therefore, the concluding on this point is avasidet nirakutam tasmat sarvamidam jagat. Sarvamidam jagat tasmat nirakudam avasidet. Tasma, therefore, based upon what we are talking about, the availability of the world for experience, while you are still holding on to the view that it is shunyam, having sarvamidam jagat nirakudam avasidet. Nirakudam avasidet. Nirakuda means without any purpose. Without any purpose, a causeless universe, karanarahitam, karanarahita jagat avasidet. Karana can be two ways you can put. Karana can be cause, karana also can be prayojana. Prayojana may be karana. So I came here. Kim karanat? When you say, I have come here, for what purpose? That purpose is also karanam. And another meaning of karana is what is the cause. So here, nirakutam means nirakutam means where there is no purpose, avasidet, it will fall off, become destroyed. So, but that is not the case with the ever experience. It is very much there, experienced through the senses and the mind. Now, they have proposed that internally there are panchaskandhas are there, as we even temporarily experience the world. And the external world is also constituted of the combination of anus, atom particles. Atom particles coming together make the object world. This is the argument of the Shunyavadins. And internally there are panchaskandhas, we have seen that. They together constitute the inner being, where there is no real consistent human being, there is an appearance of human being. So the people who hold the view, Shunyavadins, they talk about the absence of the world and absence of the perceiver also. At least the Shunyavadin would say it is there momentarily. Internally as a person, externally as the world. Now, taking that into account, let us see how he explains that also as follows. Skandanam paramanunam na sangadagidasi asti chet sangato na vinahetum jada gatapadadayah. So the skandhas which they have talked about, the 5 limbs constituting the temporary presence of the individual cell, and anu, all the atom particles coming together called the world. Even those things to happen, in both the cases there is an assembly that is taking place, coming together taking place. These Panchaskandhas coming together makes the appearance of an individual self, as well as the various atom particles coming together make appear as the world. Okay. This coming together is called Sanghada. Assembler. Sanghadayitru. Sanghadayitru means one who causes the assembly possible. Like that of a pot is made of the clay. Clay is made up of what? Dirt or the sand, water, and then sand and water mixed up in a particular proportion makes a clay, and the clay is put on the potter's wheel, and the potter turns the wheel and then gives a shape, and then after having made the shape, and he slowly picks it up and put it in the kind of an oven, and the oven is made to heat up that entire form of the clay, then slowly becomes a available pot. So for the pot to become, the mud or the clay to become a pot, there is an assembler, pot maker. Is called Sanghadayitru. Patakarta or Ghatakarta. Even the pata, for example, if you want to make a cloth, it is not as simple as this. We may take it for granted. It is coming from a particular plant, a cotton, for example. The cotton is available only as a kind of a, soft material, and that has to be dried up, and then after drying up, they have to spin it. After spinning it, make it as a thread, and the thread has to be put it in the weaving machine, and the weaving machine must be operated in a particular format, and after that the cloth is made. So there also an assembler is a karta is necessary. So skandanam paramanunam cha sangadayita na asti chet. If there is nobody who assembled all these things according to you, Sangadam vina, Sangadaha vina, na vina Sangata hetum. Sangataha hetum vina, without the presence of the doer who makes this, meaning there is no cause here. According to you, there is no Ishvaraha who does that. So there is no cause. Sangataha vina hetum jada gata patadayaha. Then not only the world become insentient, jadam, and the jada world cannot by itself assemble itself. Mud does not become, or clay does not become pot on its own. There is a necessary intervention by a conscious being without whom it is not possible. That's why here he says, Skandanam paramanunam sanghatakarta kaschid astiva nava. Sanghatayita astiva nastiva. The assembler is there or not. If you say asti chet, if it is there, sahastirava kshanikava. First of all, do you accept there is a person necessary for the assembly of things to happen or not? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. If yes, is he eternal or temporary? If you say is eternal, then you have accepted us. Accepted what? Accepted Ishvara then. Asti adye tava apasiddhantaha. So if you accept, then you went against your argument. No. Actually, I mean, no, Shanika. Oh, it's also temporary. Shanika, momentary. Okay. Okay. If you say is Shanika, Sangada संगादोत्पत्ति क्षण संबंधिनः संगादयितृत्व अनुपपत्तिः see, if you say the assembler is also coming to become an assembler along with the assembly, that is not possible. So the one who is assembling must be there before the assembling takes place. And after having assembled, along with the assemble, it goes away also. Is that what your argument is? Along with the objects that have come into being, the creator of the object also come into being, along with the object destroying itself, temporarily coming and disappearing. That's what Shranikavadin would say. One who talks about momentariness. Along with that one, the creator of that also goes away. Is that what you are saying? Appearing and disappearing, along with the appearance and disappearance of the object. So that cannot be a valid argument because he himself cannot assemble himself. Can he? If he can probably assemble anything other than himself, if you say the assembler himself is assembling himself, something really wrong with your thinking, my dear. You are not done proper vichara there. How can one self-assemble? My own parts are also I putting together myself. The one meaning is that, such a argument is false. The second is you are trying to defend yourself by not thinking. Samhantaram hetumbina na sangadaha siddhyet. Without the possibility of a person before existing consciously, the assembly is not possible. Yato gata bhatadeyaha. Like that pot and cloth etc. are inert, so also the assembler of that pot and cloth is also inert. Inert cannot be an assembler of inert things. Samhanyamanaha padarthaha jadaha swayameva samhanana samarthaha. Creation and destruction cannot be on their own. Neither the inert objects create themselves to assemble themselves, nor they created inert things can dissolve themselves without an intervention. So therefore, non-acceptance of a conscious entity which could have completed this task is a false argument. All right. Now, is it not true in human experience, everybody wants to become something someday? He asks a Buddhist, a monk, do you want to become like Buddha or not? Yes. Yes, I want to attain the Buddhahood. I want to become Buddha. If that is the case, you, the one who wants to be Buddha, is now there, and when eventually when you want to become Buddha, you're still there or not? Mahanubhavu bhuyasam iti prantascha manyate. So, Mahanubhavaha bhuyasam iti Bhranti eva. Then. Mahanubhavaha, Maha Anubhavaha, meaning a person of great experience. Bhuyasam, may I become. And if that way a person thinks, he can only be a fool in your argument that there is no continuity. Shanigatma Paksha Angikurvatam Bodhanam Avivekam Prakatayan, showing their indiscriminate thinking. Asamanjasyam tan matasya suchayati Mahanubhavaha iti Bhrantaha Drishtamatra Pratyayaha Vratam Paralaukikam. So, how can there be a person who wants to become someone consider himself to be false? A false person who does not have next moment existence, how can such a person would think, I will become Buddha sometime? So it will be the case with all other things. When a person does a ritual or any vrata, any tapas, all spiritual activities for the sake of a future possibility, is it not? Even a person thinks about, okay, I will do this ritual and I will go to heaven. He is definitely sure he will be there to go to heaven. If I do and somebody else goes, why should I do? मैं कर रहा हूं, कोई और भोगता है, मैं क्यों करूं फिर? So मैं करता हूं ये सब rituals etc. I'm doing, and I'm the same person who is going to be there after death or whatever to experience the punya loka. Well, anybody would do when there is tomorrow, one is not going to be there, next moment I am not going to be there. Then what do you do? What tapas you need to do? What austerity you have to do? What sadhana you have to do? So you Buddhists don't do any sadhana or what? You do, right? For whose sake? For your own better being. So you're going to be there. Yes. Then you are not Shanikam. Atma pala yako bauddhaha kimartam charati vratam pratyabhijñā yadi bhrantihi bhojanādi katam bhavet. He says, Kshaniga atma mate kartuhu bhoktuscha ekasya abhavat vrata acharanam vyartam. Vrata acharanam vyartam. Kimartam charati vratam. Vratam, all the austerities or any spiritual discipline. Kimartam. Why? Atma palapakaha bodhaha. Atma apalapakaha. Apalapakaha. Without any benefit to oneself. Without any benefit to oneself, a person would he do, or if he does any kind of vratam, for what purpose? Bauddhaha kimartam charati vratam. And we talked about pratyabhijñā. Pratyabhijñā means recollection, recognition. Yadi pratyabhijñā bhrantihi chet. If one says that when a person wakes up from the sleep and when he says, I slept well, is only imagination. That argument is what Buddhists would put. Actually, there is no recollection. It's only an imagination. What? You slept well. Oh. Because they want to say that there was nobody before. You did not experience. There is absence. So when you wake up, you just that's a Shanika presence. A temporary thought has come with no before connection. Nothing connected before. A thought appeared and you say, I slept well. So that's when you say I slept well, it's only a mental illusion, a mental imagination. It has no reality. It is not recollection. They do not accept the pratyabhijna. If they have to accept the pratyabhijna, they have to accept the existence of something or someone even at the time of sleep. Yes? Because without an experiencer, there cannot be an experience. So if the sleeping time there was nobody, then there cannot be any recollection of that upon waking up. If upon the waking up, if somebody says, I slept well, according to Buddhas who are considering that only Kshanikam, there is no sustenance or eternal presence of anything, therefore they say such a person's statement is Bhranti. Yati Bhrantihi Pratyabhijna Bhojanadi Kadam Bhavet. Then how that person will eat? Now, what's wrong in eating? What does he eat? What he remembers as food or something else? Oh, क्या खाएगा वो? वायु पक्ष है. Would he not choose his food? Would you choose your food or not? This to eat and this I don't want to eat. Yeah, no, he will choose the food. How does he choose the food with no prior memory? Because it's previously is not there, right? What does he eat? How does he eat? How does he? Because there's no recollection. There's nobody before. Yesterday I ate, slept, Shanikam, gone. Next morning, what do I eat? So here Bhojana means all experience. Huh? Here only taking example of Bhojanam here. Because their argument is just like the fire, when it appears, it is constant appearance and disappearance of flames. Or a river water, a continuous flow of water, the previous water is not available now and this water is now available next moment. Or the flame that is burning there continuously, one and the next and the next and the next and the next. That is why it is considered as a flame. It has a momentary appearance, disappearance, appearance and disappearance. Jwala pratyabhijnavat sohamiti apratyabhijna brahma iti tad anudya dushayati. Now, if you consider the experience of everything is Shranikam only, how can a person even choose what to eat? The very choice is making that this I eat, this I want, this I like, this is good to me, etc. must be a recollection of what was experienced before as good or preferable. If that pratyabhijna is not there, recollection is not there, recollection is Bhranti, then no worldly transaction of eating, such as eating, is possible. But we know, we see, we ourselves experience that yes, we are able to recollect, recognize according to what we have had experience before, we choose now. So your Kshanikavada of everything, Kshanikam sarvam, that is also not true. So these are all important to us to establish our understanding that Satyam Paramatma Swarupam, not only Satyam, it is Nityam, and Nityam, and also it is Atma Rupam, our own self only. Our own self is Satyam cha, Nityam cha, Chitswarupam cha. It is real, it is eternal, and it is of the nature of awareness. And it is not Shanikam, it is not Shunyam, it is not absence, it is not momentary. And that, we need to again and again establish, recognize, confirm, affirm. That is what one should do in the seat of meditation. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkhabhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.